Okay, picture this. It's late. The house is completely still. All that frantic hum of the daily grind, it's finally faded away, and you just find yourself sitting there in absolute quiet. Now, for most people, this is prime time for sleep. But for you, well, something entirely different is going on. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're exploring the fascinating source material behind a concept called cognitive quiet, and we're going to decode the hidden psychology behind your late-night habits.
So, think about it for a second. You're lying in bed, right? But you're not tossing and turning with that typical insomniac frustration. Instead, does your mind suddenly feel sharp? I mean, incredibly creative and just laser focused, right? When the rest of the world is finally hitting the pillow? Does your brain basically decide that, hey, 2 a.m. is the absolute perfect time to solve complex problems, analyze your entire life trajectory, or maybe map out a totally new project? Look, if this sounds familiar, you are absolutely not alone.
Okay, let's dive into this because the psychological reality here is where the real revelation begins. See, for years, society and, let's be honest, probably a few well-meaning doctors have told you that staying up this late just means you have terrible sleep habits. They say you lack discipline or that you just need to force yourself to be a morning person. But psychology actually reveals a completely different truth. Staying awake and literally coming alive in the middle of the night, that is not a sign that you're broken or irresponsible. Actually, the research indicates it's a profound sign of a highly active, deeply processing mind that desperately needs something the daytime simply can't give it. Section 1. The continuously processing brain. So to really understand why this happens, we need to look at how your brain is actually wired. Thinking, analyzing, planning, imagining. It paints a picture of this mental engine that just doesn't have a simple off switch. While average folks might easily power down their brains after a long, exhausting day, yours just automatically keeps going. You know the feeling. You find yourself questioning past decisions, planning way into the future, or, my personal favorite, replaying some mildly embarrassing conversation you had in an elevator like 5 years ago. Your baseline state is basically always running. And think about your day. During the daytime, you are constantly bombarded. It's immediate tasks, urgent questions, emails popping up, phones ringing off the hook, people needing answers right this very second. It is an endless, exhausting barrage of superficial demands. But at 2 a.m., that continuous processing finally gets the freedom to run, totally without limits, zero interruptions. You see, you don't come alive at night by accident. Your mind is actually just finally free to do what it does best once all that daytime noise drops away. Section 2. Seeking cognitive quiet. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it defines what's actually going on. Deep thinkers process the world so intensely that they literally require a very specific mental space, known as cognitive quiet. During the day, there's just way too much noise, unnecessary drama, and constant sensory stimulation. I mean, it completely overwhelms your processing depth. Your brain is desperately trying to do deep, meaningful work, but it's basically drowning in a sea of shallow stimulation. So how exactly does your brain fix this overwhelm? Well, it uses the night. At 2 a.m., the world goes silent, and that allows you to sit alone without any distraction. And because of that pure, unfiltered silence, your brain naturally drops right into a deep processing mode. And it's exactly here, in this beautiful, uninterrupted mental state, where profound reflection, real insight, and true creative thinking actually spark. If you really want your brain to operate at its absolute sharpest, you kind of have to give it pure silence. Section 3. Escaping social expectations. You know, it's not just the sensory noise you're escaping, it's also the incredibly heavy weight of daytime social expectations. Think about it. Throughout the daylight hours, people are constantly demanding your attention and your energy in this sort of draining, nonstop performance. But then, the clock strikes 2 a.m., and nobody expects anything from you. Just take a second and think about the immense, almost physical relief of that statement. There are no text messages you have to instantly reply to, no forced social performances where you just have to nod and smile. This complete and total lack of external pressure is the exact thing that allows your highly sensitive nervous system to finally truly calm down. You aren't isolating yourself. You are seeking clarity. This is such an important distinction. Because your mind is entirely free from social observation in the middle of the night, it can finally be completely authentic. You come alive because it's literally the only time in the entire 24-hour cycle when you are truly left alone, to just exist, to just think, without an audience watching your every move. It's a vital psychological need, guys. It is not some kind of antisocial behavior. Section 4. Craving complex challenges.
So, beyond just peace and authenticity, your mind actually craves a very specific type of challenge to stay engaged. Let's look at this comparison. During the day, your input is jammed full of routine tasks, shallow conversations, and constant annoying interruptions. Honestly, no wonder you feel totally frustrated or uninspired at 2 p.m. But at 2 a.m., you finally have the wide open space for intense focus, real creative projects, and deep existential thoughts. You can finally dive headfirst into a subject without anyone pulling you away, or you can just spend hours letting your mind wander into the really deep questions of life.
Listen, diving into these complex challenges in the middle of the night, that isn't laziness, and it definitely isn't just a bad habit of procrastinating your sleep. This is simply your mind desperately seeking the uninterrupted depth it absolutely requires to function properly and actually feel satisfied. It's literally starving for depth all day long. And the night? Well, the night is its only chance to eat. Section 5. Your secret weapon. So, the crucial point is this. It is time to completely shift how you view your late-night routine. Seriously, stop apologizing for how your brain works. As the slide says, you simply possess a deep, highly active mind that requires the absolute silence of the night to function at its peak. The very next time you find yourself wide awake at 2 a.m., feeling that sudden, amazing rush of clarity and creativity, please stop feeling guilty about it. You aren't some broken insomniac with terrible habits. You actually have incredibly unique, powerful wiring. This quiet, lonely habit, it's actually the absolute greatest strength you have for brilliant thinking. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder tonight. Now that you understand the real psychology behind your deeply processing mind, and you know that this cognitive quiet is actually a massive tool, how will you use your next 2 a.m. rush of clarity? I mean, are you going to keep fighting it, or will you finally let your mind build its masterpiece? Really think about it. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer.